Hey folks, this is Zach, executive editor at CE Pro. Today I'm joined by Karthik Kanigalingam from Somfy. Karthik, thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, thank you for the invite, Zach. I'm glad to be doing this and be a part of the CE Pro community. My name is Karthik Kanigalingam. I work as the Architectural Specifications Manager at Somfy. We are a team of four, small but mighty. We cover all of North America, US, and Canada. And what we work with is the architect and design community, as well as the general contractors, as well as manufacturers, just to help support the world around motorized or automated shading. Somfy is one of the leading manufacturers when it comes to the motors and control technologies within the motorized shading industry. And we have a wide variety of partners right across the country to support any type of project or application that you or your client may be looking for. So feel free to connect with us when you see us at these trade shows. Come talk to us. We're super friendly. We'd like to educate and share our knowledge when it comes to motorized shading. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to help support and consult and provide suggestions on different types of technologies available.
Right, very good. So let's talk about some things that Somfy offers, and specifically PoE shading solutions. What are the benefits of PoE for motorized shades?
Yeah, so PoE, Power over Ethernet, has been a technology that's been utilized in the industry for many, many years. I mean, dating back into the first voice over IP phones and moving up to access points and security cameras and lighting, badging systems. A lot of these products are low voltage powered products. Traditionally, they were high voltage, but the conversion of high voltage to the low voltage power was done very inefficiently and requires high costs when it comes to the electrical infrastructure when you're doing high voltage, whereas with PoE, it's all low voltage Cat6 wiring. It's much more cost effective, easier to deploy, as well as much more easier to run multiple bundles of cable. So we've used the PoE technology, and originally we had our PoE gateway, which was outside of the motor. And Somfy, being an innovator of technologies, we always start with, for example, when we first had our standard motors, we had the RTS or radio frequency receiver outside the motor, which then received the control command and then operated the motorized shade. Then they improved the technology and put the receiver inside the motor. And just like that, when we first got into the world of PoE, we had a PoE gateway which received power and control over a Cat6 and controlled our RS-485 motors. Now we've improved the technology. We've created a new product, much more innovative, is putting the PoE technology inside of the motorized shade system. So the cost has been brought down in going with PoE technology because now we don't have an extra gateway. It's actually built into the motor. And it's much more easier to deploy in projects because now it becomes an end device in your PoE network along with all your other networking gear. And that's one of the benefits of PoE is that you don't have other gateways, hubs, power supplies, proprietary wiring, the whole shebang that comes along with traditional motorized shade systems. PoE removes all of that and makes it a much more simplified type of application.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that installation process and how integrators are experiencing these solutions. Yeah, can you just kind of drill down a little bit more into how PoE simplifies installation compared
Yeah,
to traditional methods?
so compared to traditional methods, I mean, if you've been in the industry understanding how motorized shades were powered, traditionally we'd always have high voltage or 120 volt AC powered motors. And then the alternative is low voltage. Now you have an option, but traditionally you would use high voltage when you have heavier or larger size shades. Or if you have pockets, you can have one high voltage motor drive multiple bands of shades together that are linked. You would use low voltage traditionally when you have like punch windows and you're having one shade per window. That type of application, low voltage is great, but the traditional approach is that you would need an electrician to run the high voltage power
Mm,
and the high cost of conduit plus electrical cabling plus union labor makes motorized shades much more expensive. And oftentimes, what we find on projects is that when they're starting to value engineer a project, they'll look at, hey, what is the cost in electrical infrastructure for motorized shades? And then say, oh, if we go manual, then we save all that money, right? But then you lose the whole experience and benefits of having automated shading in your project because of this high cost. So now with PoE, we're able to run a single cable for power and data, and provide control and integration. And the labor associated to running Ethernet wiring is low cost, right? 1,000 foot spool can run anywhere from $200 to $300 versus 1,000 foot spool of proprietary wiring can be double or triple the price. And Ethernet wiring is readily available and used by many different types of trades for
right.
different types of applications. So there's easier infrastructure and routing, faster deployment, simplified integration. It's much more scalable and modular because you just start adding additional network switching gear when you have additional motors, right? And then you do your power budget allocation towards PoE, and you scale up your PoE switching gear to support larger based projects. Now, traditionally, one last point I want to touch base on is commissioning, right? When you think about commissioning, you would subcontract the work out to a certified trained professional around that specific motorized shade system. And there's a high cost to commissioning, but now with PoE, there's a software-based commissioning tool. You can go into the software. You don't have to be an expert, right?
Right.
People from the CE Pro industry are probably programming more complicated systems than motorized shades. So integrating to this makes it much more easier because it's an IP address. We go in, you log into the motor, you set the upper limit, you roll it down, you save the lower limit, and then you add any groups that you want to add into. You want to change the speeds, you can change the speeds. It's a much more user-friendly software. And what's cool about this system is, let's say you have 10 motorized shades all side by side. The installation is perfect. All the shades are aligned at the top. You can copy and paste your parameters for your limits, your groups, your speed settings from one motor to all 9 motors. And
Mm,
then you can just run a test to see if they perfectly run up and down right after copying and pasting this programming. So it makes it so much more faster to deploy this type of technology versus your traditional method of commissioning motorized shade systems.
right. Um, so I think we're have to talk a little bit about the partners that are supporting PoE integration for Somfy's motorized shading solutions. Who are those partners, and how did that come about?
Yeah, so with Somfy, we're kind of the motor inside the dishwasher kind of thing, or Intel inside of a PC. We are the main driver of operating the motors open and closed, and we can't do it alone, right? For us, we work with roller shade manufacturers to build the roller shade system, and then those roller shade manufacturers sell to the dealers who subcontract out the work. Now, when it comes to control and functionality, we rely heavily on the industry to provide the front end control,
Yeah.
right? And Somfy collaborates with a diverse network of partners to provide control over the motorized shade systems. And it's both applicable in both the residential and commercial type applications and projects. Now, Somfy's motors, such as the SNES 30 or the SNES 40 PoE motor, is designed for direct integration with leading smart home or building automation platforms using the Somfy Synergy API. Now, the Somfy Synergy API is a JSON-based API, and a lot of the third-party systems in the industry have the capability of creating drivers using this API, so that way it's all simplified for the integration. We have integration guides for every single one of these partners, so that way they can use the integration guide, follow step by step. These are certified and validated drivers from both parties, so they're validated on the integration partner, but they're also validated with Somfy. So we're testing and making sure everything works before releasing it to the market. So notable integration partners include Control 4, Crestron, Crestron Home, URC, we have Elan, RTI, and QSys, as well
Mm.
as integration partners. And that's just to name a few that's already been validated and tested and confirmed with both parties as partners. But we are working on a lot more behind the scenes. So if there's a company that you don't see there, it may already be in the works and may be coming to the market or the industry very soon. And with Somfy, we're always open to work with everybody. We have a very open mindset and we support the industry and we support the CE Pro community because you have options to choose from. And we don't want to limit you on the options to choose from. We want to give you that flexibility to work with who your preferred vendor or partner is.
Mm. Yeah, PoE is very new for motorized shading. So what are you guys seeing as, the main use cases so far?
Yeah, so like I said, it is relatively new technology for motorized shades, but PoE has been existing for many, many years, right? We are just repurposing this new technology to help drive automation and motorization to a solution that has, I mean, 90% of the time ends up being a manual shade system. So if we're able to deliver new technology for various different use cases, to decrease the cost of going automation or motorized shading, I think it's a benefit for all. Now we do have a couple examples where PoE is providing energy efficiency or enhanced occupant comfort, and the early adopters in the industry have highlighted several of these benefits and use cases. I'm going to start off with a couple project examples. For example, within the hospitality industry, we have the St. Clair Marriott Hotel in Fort Worth, Texas.
Mm.
And I'm not sure if you've seen the videos online, but this is the first smart luxury autograph hotel. It's 15 stories high, 330 hotel units, and the project is composed of 500 PoE gateways with about 650 motorized shades and
Wow.
draperies. This was originally installed at the time when we didn't have the native PoE motors, so we utilized the PoE gateways in this application. This application provided energy efficiency and automation for the guests staying at the hotel. Another use case that we also have PoE shading in is commercial offices. For example, Cisco's office in Penn One, New York City, it showcases smart building technologies
Mm.
within a commercial office, and this is like a Class A office, right? Because the post-pandemic world, working in a hybrid environment, to get people back into the offices, you have to give them that welcoming, comfortable experience, and not be stuck in like the old cubicle type offices with poor lighting, no natural light,
Right.
just walls, right? The new office space has to be inviting. And the motorized shades on this project were PoE motorized shading integrated with a solar tracking system. And also, it was integrated to Cisco Spaces to provide real-time control through the occupant, as well as automated control through environmental conditions, whether it's sunny or cloudy, right? So the shades are constantly adjusting themselves to be where they need at any moment of time, and also giving the flexibility of local control for the end user.
Mm.
Another application that we did in Vancouver, BC is similar type of application. The end user didn't want local control except for in the boardroom, but it was all facilitated off of sensors. Shades are constantly moving based on where the sunlight potential is, where there could be potential glare, where there could be potential thermal discomfort, and the shades are constantly adjusting themselves to provide better comfort for the building occupant without any human control, right? And it's crazy to think that they want to fully automate that. But if you think about AI and where the world is headed, this is pretty much artificial intelligence where things are happening without human intervention, and it's to
Right.
provide better comfort for us. And lastly, another use case that we see is within the education and healthcare environments, where they're leveraging PoE shades to improve the learning and healing environments by providing natural light to the to the people inside the space. They say when you have access to quality views, when you have access to daylight, you're actually able to heal much more faster and reduce your time. If you're at a hospital, if you're at a old age senior living home, care home, having access to daylight will actually help you heal and get better much more faster. So there's many different use cases. That was just three of them there that I want to touch base on that we've actually had PoE opportunities. But yeah, it's a great trend. The industry is catching up with it, and we're slowly seeing a shift towards power over Ethernet solutions.
Okay. Yeah, I actually did get a chance to visit the Cisco office at One Pen
Oh, sweet.
a
Cool.
few years ago when I was covering a different vertical. Yeah, that was a incredible office space, and I think like like you're talking about the post-COVID hybrid work model, um, and there's an emphasis on video, and of course, being Cisco, they're obviously very much invested in WebEx in the office.
Yep.
Um, so I think automated solutions that will help kind of reduce sunlight in all these different spaces that they have video enabled for these hybrid kind of huddle spaces and then larger conference rooms as well.
Mhm.
Really just helps kind of keep sunlight where it should be, and kind of reduces glare on all these different cameras they have in the offices now.
Mhm. Mhm. And like for example, let's say the next day nobody comes into work, it's hybrid, no one's in the
Right,
office. If you're using manual shades, no one's gonna close all the shades at the end of the night.
right.
Now it's reactive to building occupancy as well,
Yeah,
right? So as a tenant, as a landlord, as a person who owns the buildings, this is huge because now your building is reactive to real-time conditions of exterior environments as well as how many people are in the space, right? If there's no one there, then turn off the lights, close the
right.
blinds, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Karthik, can you talk about early feedback from integrators on these solutions?
Yeah, definitely. So we have gathered feedback from the industry. Our goal is to do market research when we're launching some new products out into the industry. We give out some samples, we talk to the integration market, see how it meets their requirements. One of the projects we recently did and had feedback from was an integrator who deployed it within their office space. And the feedback that he mentioned was that, as integrators, they prefer having control over their own networks without
Mhm.
relying on multiple third-party hubs, whether it's lighting or shading,
Right,
or audio, video, or um, anything that they're putting into the project. So using additional bridges can introduce complexity and connection issues, and often systems not working together, which often frustrates both the integrator as well as the end user. The feedback on the PoE shading solution uh, was positive in this case because it directly connects into their system over the network and is much more reliable. It's efficient. They're able to maintain a streamlined system architecture for all of the PoE products that they have on that project. And the recommendation was that for everyone to perform proper load calculations is one of the big things when it comes to PoE budget and the power distribution, and selecting the appropriate size of the shade, uh, appropriate size of the motor based on the shade size and application. Somfy has three different types of torques when it comes to the motors. So we have our SNS 30, 1.5, 30 watt torque, and then we have the SNS 40, which is comes in 30 watts, 60 watts, and 75 watts. So a 75 watt motor can do a 12 by 12 shade with effortlessly. So using a 30-watt motor might be your typical application. So always size it appropriately. And this is kind of the future of where motorized shades is headed, is the feedback that we received when it comes to long-term performance and satisfaction from the client. So
Mhm.
that was a good feedback that we took back to the table, and we talk about it with our clients that we present PoE as an option for motorization.
Great. Yeah, Karthik, anything else that you would want the CE Pro readership to know about Somfy's PoE solutions?
Yeah. So just as final comments, like I said, Zach, I appreciate you doing this and bringing us in uh, to a CE Pro session with you guys. So we're very excited about our commitment to the innovation around PoE technology. Somfy has been innovating solutions and for motors and controls since 1969. So we've been doing it
Mm.
for a very long time, and we've been doing it really well. And the market sees it, the market feels it, and we've won numerous awards for it. So we give you the flexibility to choose which partners you like to work with for your home or commercial automation control systems. We also have a wide variety of partners across the country for window coverings and also for the automation systems. This year at CEDIA 2025 in Denver, Colorado, we'll be hosting our first ever live competition on how quickly you're able to program a PoE motor.
Oh,
So
cool.
what I'd like to mention is stop by our booth, compete for fabulous prizes and awards. We're going to have 3 or 4 stations set up. And as an integrator, you're going to come in, get on a computer, set your upper limits, set your lower limits. It's going to be a dual shade application. They do the same thing and compete for how fast you can get it done, right? And then the fastest person gets prizes. So we're looking forward to having this fun type of uh, session with the
Yeah,
community.
that's great. What are the prizes? You know yet?
I don't, but
Okay,
Mary Ellen, from our CEDIA channel partnership
gotcha.
manager, she usually chooses the best
All
ones.
right. Better be good. Karthik, thanks very much, man. We appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate you having us in the session, and looking forward to seeing you at the CEDIA.